We live?
We live. Let's get it.
The echo? Okay, good. All right, I don't know where my pictures just went. I don't see
What is
myself.
up,
I don't see
guys?
Miss.
Welcome to another episode of The Real. I'm your host, BG, with my lovely co-host, Miss Maddie Cruz. How you doing today, girl?
Hey, good. Ready and excited for this topic. Hot topic.
What is up? What is up? Welcome to another episode of The Real. I am one of your hosts, BG, in the building. We got the lovely Goddess Z in the building. How you doing today, girl?
I am well. I am well. How y'all doing, Soul Tribe?
We're doing good. And then we also got our special guest. Y'all know him, Mr. Net Most Wanted, back in the building to go down that rabbit hole for the third time. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right, man. Just back out
That's
here.
good.
Shoot, I've been taking a little breather my dang self over the last couple of weeks. So we back out here.
We back out here, hey, and shout out to Mary Cruz. She had some stuff come up, so she couldn't make it with us today. So shout out to you, much love. Hope that everything is all right. And then Philly 500 wanted to be part of the show. We're gonna reschedule another one with him. He couldn't get out of work, to come do the show today, but he really wanted to do it. So shout out to both of those guys. But we definitely gonna still rock it, man. We're gonna rock it.
For sure, for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
Let's do it.
So let's get into it, my guy. We're down a rabbit hole the third time. You just dropped a video last night. Let everybody
yeah,
know what that video was a little bit about. Before we get
man,
into it all.
that video was deep. Man, the crazy thing is, like, I've been sitting on that for like almost a month. And the thing is, when I get busy and some other stuff happens, then I could tend to forget certain parts. So I like to work through and just finish my projects when I start them, because when you get sidetracked, you lose your train of thought. You misplace ideas and different messages that need to be in those particular videos. And I did that in that video. I left a key piece out, but to hit on what it was about, it was pretty much talking about the whole parasite aspect, right?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that in depth, and that's a very, very important piece. See, I got into it, just the part about how those parasites they're actually intelligent. Okay, that's a piece that people haven't really thought about. Like, we assume that we like are all knowing, like we the smartest creatures, and like we the only ones that can do this, can do that. But it never dawned on people that there's parasites that can be intelligent as well. Why is it not possible? Why would people think, oh, you can't be smart because you're a microscopic, insect or a parasite or creature for whatever matter? So people assume that they're not able to do anything. They're not able to harm us. You think of parasites, then you think about infections. You think about rashes and things. You think about tiny insects that bite you and stuff. You don't think about something that can actually have some kind of power, okay, or that can be somewhat strategic in how it moves. You understand? So it tied everything together because I stumbled across the guy, Dr. Sirius B, I believe his name was, and he started going in depth, and he put up the books and stuff about the parasites and stuff that they had discovered in the past and the significance of those parasites. So that automatically brought to my mind about the parasites that Dr. Carrie Majay had found, and how she was talking about how, like, the parasite seemed like it was intelligent. Like it seemed like it knew that we were watching it. Like it knew, and it was like in the glass or whatever, moving around, and it was looking at them. Like, think about that. Something that's microscopic that can only be seen under like 400 times magnification, actually having a brain.
Yeah,
But even further, but even further, if you take it a step further, not just having a brain. Think about us as we're spiritual creatures. Okay, we're spiritual beings. Okay, we've been cut off from our spiritual ability, spiritual power, telepathic, intuition, psychic abilities. Okay, and God knows what else. But that doesn't mean that these other beings and creatures and such have been cut off from their power. You understand what I mean? Like, people are messing with us, but what about these creatures, these other life forms? Okay, and this goes in depth. That's why I put that piece in the beginning of the video. See, some of y'all don't know, but y'all if you from my era, then you know about Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the movie Poltergeist, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy was sitting there, he had that bottle, and he had that big worm in there. Remember the parasite? Mm-hmm. And he was drinking that bottle, and all of a sudden that parasite went down in him, and what happened? He became possessed. Mm-hmm. Right? He was possessed. Right? So to be possessed, it's a spiritual aspect of that people don't put it together. Okay? But back in the day when people had like schizophrenia and stuff like that, they would cast out spirits, they would cast out demons, right? They would cast out these entities, okay, that would affect your spiritual, that could take over your body. To be possessed, you basically you're hosting some type of entity or potentially a parasite, right? So when I put the piece in there about Rudolf Steiner, he was like, we were working on a specific walk, okay, y'all know what I mean, that would disconnect you from your spiritual soul, from your spiritual self. It would disconnect you. They were working on that back in the 1800s, 1900s. They wanted everybody to be disconnected from their spiritual power, from their spiritual connection with the Most High. They didn't want you to know that the spiritual realm even existed. If it's not that important, why were they working on making sure that you didn't have it?
Right.
You see what I mean? They was working on making sure you couldn't connect to your spiritual self. That was the whole agenda. They was working on this. These people were cult members. Talk about Illuminati and stuff today. This is basically what it is. Okay, so they came up with a plan and came up with a way of doing that. And then they would consider themselves the enlightened ones while they disconnect you from your higher self. Mm-hmm. And the way they was doing that was they saying it was going to be through a walk. So now they got you today where they trying to introduce what? What did Carrie Majay find in the walk? The parasites, right? So he was saying that they would disconnect you to where you would not be able, you would be smart, but you would not know thine self, or you wouldn't know your true power. But you would be smart, but it would be smart based off of what they considered smart. Not to have that higher level of intelligence that comes only from a spiritual connection. Mm-hmm. That's what was important to them, making sure they cut that off. And they were going to use some type of walk. Today we have a walk, and we found a parasite in it, right? And this guy, like I said, Dr. Sirius B is talking about these intelligent parasites that they are able to basically take over your mind control. Is that not the same as possession? You know, and taking over your movements and making you do certain things, right? So he's talking about at a certain point, it was a certain time back, I can't remember what date, but he said there was some ships or whatever that had arrived here, and after that, everybody changed, and they people were acting different. People's language, everything just went in a whole different direction. Okay, and it was based off of what these parasite things that came along. Now, if we looking for an enemy, we thinking, okay, we gonna see somebody that's as big as you and me. You know, you're gonna be fighting somebody like that. But if they introduced the Trojan horse, you know, back then, and they was able to get control of people, then those people would be hosting these parasites that are have an agenda, which is controlling a whole race of people, which is what he said they were able to do. And you wonder why certain people act a certain way. Okay, we wonder why they're spraying certain things in the skies and stuff like that. You wonder why they try to keep us from using certain things that kill parasites. You see, and we wonder why some of our friends and family members, they seem like they control, like they don't. It does not register. Nothing we talking about.
They don't even want to know the truth. You start talking truth to them, they start looking all crazy at you, like
they start looking crazy.
They can't hear you.
They can't hear you. They'll team up against you. They won't have no facts. They won't have no facts behind nothing they saying, but they will condemn you to hell with everything you talking about.
Facts.
You the craziest person they ever known. Craziest person, but the whole time you using straight logic, intuition, common sense, simple math. Like that's they don't none of that stuff apply to them.
No.
You could be telling them straight facts and they're going to tune it out and they're going to come up with some delusional reason why you are delusional and something is wrong with you.
Facts.
like I told you, I had my dad contacted me and it was like he was possessed the way he was trying to get me to go and take the walk. He's like, oh, you tripping. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to do this. This is best for you and your boys and this and that. Y'all need to do it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Did you not hear anything I just said about all these people that's dead right now that's dying? Did you not hear none of that? No, you need to take that. That's what's best for you. Like he was possessed trying to give it to me. And what I noticed, which is significant, remember, like I said in the video, if you remember when I was talking, they found in the pop quiz that they was giving everybody that there was stuff moving in there. But you had to see it at a microscopic level. You couldn't see it if you just look at it like a Q-tip. It looks perfectly normal. But when they got that microscope on and looked at it, it was stuff in there moving. Also, parasites. Okay? Though parasites control your brain. That's why they wanted to put that parasite. They jamming them parasites right to your brain. Just like The Faculty. That movie, The Faculty, when Nurse Harper was in there giving that test to everybody and she was going through the eardrum to get to the brain. But once them people got that parasite in them, they was controlled, wasn't it? All of them was like, hey, they was after people. They was killing folks. They was like totally different once they took that ear exam. So now what we doing? We going straight here with the tests, the pop quizzes right here with these parasites that they finding. And see, what people don't understand, they talk about all this graphene oxide, this ethylene oxide. Those parasites need certain atmosphere and environment to live in. You see, they need that. So that's why that stuff is on there and in those particular things. That's what it's for. Those particular parasites need those type of ingredients to live in. And that's what they're using. That's why they putting that stuff up in everybody. So that's why you got a lot of people that I know personally that was like, hey, I ain't taking that, I ain't doing that. But they kept taking that dang pop quiz.
Yeah.
They took that pop quiz enough times to where they put their guard down. They said, I'm just going to go get that. I'm just going to go ahead and take that walk. Because those parasites that they using in there have mind control power. Once they get to that brain, once they get back there, they can tap in. And they can control you. That's what they've been doing. That's why your friends and family members then turned all of a sudden. They don't seem, some of them don't even seem the same.
And it's interesting that you bring up the fact about parasites and seeing them on the microscopic level. Because I remember the Popeyes chicken sandwich when they came out with that chicken sandwich and people was fighting and stuff. There was a whole documentary on when they looked at that sandwich under the microscope and it had like strands of DNA. Like it had like almost that mimic hair. And we know that, anything that like the whatever they giving people now, we want to
it might have been those Magellans. It might have been that Popeyes chicken sandwich. Now I need to see that. Do you have a copy of that?
I can definitely get that to you because they broke it down to a science where they were saying like the components of it. You know, people were fighting, they were becoming angry, people were outraged, and like
it was people in Popeyes fighting.
They were rioting for that chicken sandwich.
The component of what they were putting in the chicken, that was actually attaching to people's DNA, driving them mad, driving them crazy, and it made perfect fucking sense. And now that you say that about, you know, having it, you know, in other things and how parasites, it's interesting to see the ways that they're introducing these things in the most innocent or the most, or this is the best thing for you.
Right. And that's what I've come to realize. Anything, and it took me waking up and really understanding how this world functions. Anything that they're promoting, that they're getting behind, and they advertising the hell out of it, it's bad for you. It's something about it. It's not what we see on the surface level. In order to know that, you have to have a spiritual discernment about this stuff.
True.
Because otherwise, you're gonna sleep on it, and you're gonna think, oh, it's just fine. Like for our whole life, they've been pushing what? Make sure you drink a lot of milk. Milk is the best thing for you. You know, make sure you brush your teeth every morning. Use this toothpaste. This is the best toothpaste. Put deodorant on. Those things that they give you to make sure that you need to use it, those things have some type of toxins and things in it to have a bad effect on you. Yeah. Even the water, they know everything that you drink. Like, hey, they make sure you eat cereal every morning. Cereal for the morning. Make sure you got your milk and cereal, right? But the milk is really got stuff that's gonna calcify your pineal gland, right? Same thing with the chicken sandwich. They put the chicken sandwich out there. See, people get so caught up in little one-offs about stuff. Like, oh, maybe it was just one thing. No, we have to go back and look at the history of everything that they've ever pushed to us. Everything that they've ever promoted to us. From the schedules as children. You see, people don't understand why children, like I talked about this before, children usually have a unique spiritual discernment when they little. They able to see things. Everybody talk about their kids that say, oh, I saw this, or I was talking to grandma, and grandma been dead 20 years, you know, and oh, I had a friend, and who you in there talking to? Are they playing imaginary friends and stuff? They are still connected to the spiritual realm, most of them, because they haven't been introduced to all these schedules and immunizations and things at any point until they get to a certain age. That's when you get cut off completely from your spirit. You keep on drinking enough milk, keep on brushing your teeth enough times, by a certain age, that stuff is going to be cut off. It's going to be calcified. And that's what they want to make sure they do. And so we don't never look back once we get to a point where we're awake and say, well, what all have I been subjected to? What have they done to me over the course of my lifetime that might affect how I think or my common sense, or why some of our friends and family members are so disconnected from reality? We don't know how much they've been poisoned over their lifetime. Absolutely. You know, some of us, we've been able to get away from certain things, and for whatever reason, maybe we didn't get certain schedules and things like that. Maybe we avoided some flu shots, whatever. But we've got to a point where we understand this world is not what it's supposed to be. And the people that are above us that are pushing certain things are not pushing stuff in our best interest. They tell everything they tell us that's happening to us, and it's happening because of that. It's not happening because of that. They say, oh, you got cancer because you were smoking cigarettes, when they really gave you cancer because they was poisoning you with something that you was taking for cigarettes, like some nicotine patch that gave you that crap. But they tell you, oh, it was the cigarettes. Oh, you take this and this will help you stop smoking. No, actually, that's going to give you some kind of cancer. Okay, and you're going to think that you stopped yourself from smoking, but no, they just poisoned you. They got you this all like wrapped up in a tight little spiral and how they going to bring you down. And we don't think about that stuff until now, where we like, wait a minute, this stuff y'all doing is all with an agenda behind it. Nothing is innocent to me anymore. I hate to be that guy, but I look at everything under a microscope now, and I dissect it, and I see it for what it is. And most of the time, I feel like I have a good discernment, spiritual discernment about this stuff that's telling me, yeah, you probably don't want to do that. You probably want to stop doing that, or stop watching that or listening to that, because this is having an effect on you and your spirit, man. So,
yeah, everything is an illusion, man. It is. And anything, like for real, anything that they're pushing, like you said, pushing, and it's for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, what have you ever gotten that you liked that was free in reality? You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing free like that. You got to trip any kind of shot that they're trying to give you, man. I argue down every shot for any of my kids. I argue down anything. They always like, you got to take it. I ain't got to take nothing. I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? You ain't making me take a damn thing. You know, at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
They
It's
had
crazy
the
how
guys
people
in the
run out
prison. They
from
were offering
you
them
know?
money, putting money on their books to get the jab, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
they would play a video that talked about the jab and why it was important, and they even create like almost like a mantra about the jab, and they would play it over and over while these people were incarcerated, so they had no choice but to listen to it. Another
yeah.
form of
Like my buddy, he
planning.
just asked. I had a buddy that was locked up for a while, and he was talking about they was doing all kind of stuff to get them boys. They was giving people reduced sentences and stuff. Think about that. They
Wow,
reduce your sentence for you to take a
wow.
walk. Like what?
Mhm.
Like really? I can get 10 years off if I just do this? Oh, great! I'll do that. You know how many people like fall for that, and what it's gonna do to them? They probably won't even live 10 years. You know, but they doing it because they haven't made the connection yet, and it doesn't make sense. Like you got to do the math. Like, why would they give me time off for this? Why would they? Are they trying to keep me alive?
You
Really?
talk about their pineal gland. It's calcified. They can't think
It's
that far.
calcified. They can't think like the dude said though. These people would be smart, but they would not be as smart as they would if they had their pineal gland. If they had their spiritual connection, it's still intact. They won't be as smart as that. So what level of intelligence are people able to reach if they don't have their full like brain power? Because the pineal gland is part of the brain. It's probably the most integral but most important part of the brain that really connects you to reality and common sense and lets you be able to put things together and see through the BS. That's why in the movie They Live, when he put on the glasses, it wasn't that the book actually said like sleep or procreate or anything like that. He was seeing it for what it was. Like the pictures of showing some woman, you know, a lustful woman, or showing somebody, you know, buying a elaborate car or something luxurious. He was seeing that that's what this stuff really was about. Like we see it now, like what y'all pushing us to drink and take, what it really entails, what it really make us do. You see, he put them glasses on. It was really symbolic of him being able to see through the spiritual and no longer looking at stuff on the surface level 3D reality. So that's what we're able to see, and that's why we can see this stuff for what it is. The people that have been shut off from their pineal gland, they see something. They see a ad to say, "Hey, come down here and get some free pizza and take this walk." They see, "Oh, that's free pizza. I'm going to get that." But we see like, what the heck is y'all giving us free pizza for, man?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, man. Come on, man. We ain't stupid, you know. It's just like Adam and Eve. Like I put that piece in the video last night. When they took a bite of that apple, it disconnected them from their higher self. It didn't disconnect them from the spiritual world. They were no longer able to see through their spiritual eye that they had, that made them like gods in themselves. And Satan told them, if you take a bite of this apple, you will be like God. But he lied to them. He lied to them. And he got them to take a bite of that apple, and immediately it took away their best power, which was their spiritual connection to the Most High. And now they was looking through their 3D realm eyes, which told them, hey, we're naked. I see you naked now. You wasn't seeing me naked all this time. How come you see me naked now? Because I'm no longer using my internal eye, the spiritual realm. I'm using the two eyes on this vessel. And that's telling me that you naked. You see what I'm saying? So that's the same thing they was working on from the beginning of time, is disconnecting people from their spiritual self. Satan deceived them a long time ago. Who been trying to deceive us? Satan and his minions. These dang things on TV that people don't know that they not human beings. Can't emphasize that enough. Even Dr. Fauci, man, I'm gonna have to put this little clip together because I say something today, man. Dr. Fauci ain't human. He ain't human, but he telling you what to do with your body. And we up here trying to hold a court of law with him, talking about he needs to be nice and fair and make sure we getting good medication. And he ain't even human. I'm telling you, he's sitting up there talking and his tongue whipping in and out of his mouth so fast, man, you can't even see it unless you slow it down. Slow stuff down, you know what I'm saying? 500 times or go magnification 200 times, and you start seeing things that you're not supposed to see. You see what I'm saying? So that's really where things is at, man. A lot of people are so disconnected that they can't put two and two together and see the stuff that we seeing. And if you still connected to the Most High, if you still got some kind of spiritual discernment, you gonna notice things. Just like he did in the movie. He had the glasses, and bam, everything was so apparent and clear, so apparently clear to him after that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff going on out here, man. It's crazy stuff. You guys gotta really protect yourselves, man, and really just use your common sense. Like, I feel like everybody wants you, like you said, use your eyes. Like, it's not, we project things with our eyes. We don't intake things with our eyes. People gotta realize, we're projecting our best case scenario of what our brain is telling us our eyes should see at that time. You know what I'm saying? And even the fact of growing up hearing that you only use 10% of your brain, like, why haven't there been, more questions about where's the other 90%? How do you access the other 90%? How can you use the other 90%? Why are people so cool and calm? Like, okay, well, we only use 10%, and it's like that's the end all game. It's like, no, man, we are very powerful beings, and they're definitely doing everything in their possible, to stop us from using our powers. We all got them. We just gotta unlock them.
Yeah, they don't want us to have our powers. That's first and foremost.
But what do y'all think about the age of Aquarius? I feel like that's been the case for a certain amount of time. But just like the Roman Empire fell, I feel like this whole reptilian cabal empire has served its course, has run its course. So do y'all
very well, yeah,
a new awakening? Because I'm seeing so many people, like I'm seeing things I'm not used to seeing, like people come together in brotherhood and sisters. We talk about the disconnect a lot, and sometimes we highlight that, but I'm seeing people like get back together and do things like going back to ancient ways. For me, I went from birthing in the hospital to birthing at home without anybody because of nothing but sheer enlightenment, getting out there sunbathing, getting cold, light codes when I meditate, all of that telling me how to, maneuver through this realm. So do y'all think like we're in a new age of awakening, or this is just going to continue, or we're going to continue to quote unquote be oppressed by like superiors or the unseen or elite?
That's a good question. And that's really going to depict what's going on today and where we're at. I feel like we at a space where we going one way or one direction or the other. We either going up or we going down. Either we are at a point where we done broke free from the oppressors, and we about to see some good days, or things is going to get real, real bad. That's where I don't think there's an in between here. I don't think we can continue on with life as we know it. Because you think about it. Think about how many people that took the walk.
Right.
You still have to consider that. What does that mean? That means that billions of people will not be here probably within the next 5 years, next 3, more than likely. So what will that world look like? That's a lot of desolate land and so a lot of areas that's just gonna be deserted. And what does that world look like when you've knocked off all them folks? How do you go on and live a normal life behind that? And we know that this is true. We know what this whole plan was about. The Georgia Guidestone said it clearly what they was planning to do. And unfortunately, they've been able to carry that out to some degree. Unless we have some kind of divine intervention, it's going to be a whole lot of folks that ain't finna be here in a minute.
I think the plan turned. I think I do hear what you're saying though. I do get it because there's a lot of people that did take their walk. I like how you put that. And but I think that with all this heat we're experiencing, with this crazy stuff that's going on in the clouds, I think that their plan was kind of turned on them. Because they decide, but I think the planet is being upgraded. I think everything is being upgraded. I think this whole quote unquote virus thing is nothing but your DNA catching up to what the planet is doing. We're going into a space of having more free flowing matter. We 3D is dense. We're going into 5D. So a lot of people hardware just couldn't take their evolution. They got to come back and try again. So I think that it was a plan that was tried to be carried out as a last ditch effort. I think that a lot of people succumbed to that plan. But I think a lot of them did. Yeah, a lot. And I also think that like you said, it's going to be a lot of land. I think there's more room for people who are at a certain level or a certain vibration to expand and evolve, for them to inherit the land and be able to create this new earth.
Yeah, and I've heard that as well. I've heard that, I don't like to be the Grim Reaper, the one that's bringing all the bad news. I know people have criticized me because they feel like at times I've done that, because I've been showing people what's likely to come and who said what and how everything they've said has come to fruition, and how that means that the future doesn't look good. Like I was just telling you, like it ain't a good thing to lose, 3, 4, 5 billion people. That is not a good thing at any point. Okay. But they have succeeded in giving the walk to over roughly 3, 4 billion people. Okay. It's all estimates. Now, what does that look like with 3, 4 billion people gone? On top of the fact where you got I don't know how many children and whatnot have been sterilized behind this. They got real strong and aggressive with the stuff that they were already doing. They were already knocking people off. People think that, this walk is the new thing that's knocking people off. They've been knocking people off at a rate that is unpronounced to most people. They've been knocking people off with cancer and HIV and all these different diseases, strokes and heart attacks. That stuff been in the works. You think people just have strokes and heart attacks? No, this stuff has been in the works. It's been part of the plan. Cancer has always been big. That's it. They just wanted to expedite it and start picking up the deaths at a higher rate. On top of that, we go back to the whole parasite piece. Like the plan from beginning was to do what? To knock off 5/6 of the population and enslave the rest. So you knock off 5 billion people, but you still want to be able to enslave another billion or 500 million that's left. Is what they want to do. And how would they do that? With the parasite. The enslavement through the parasite. So these people that do live, like whichever, I don't know how you can decide for who's gonna be here and who's not. I think most people, them lots that we knew, it was about 3 lots. Okay, one of them was supposed to be focused on the blood clotting and the heart attacks and the strokes. Then there was the other one that was going to deal with breaking down the immune system and everything. And then you got the other piece that was going to deal with enslavement. So people walk around like, oh, I'm fine, this, that, and other, ain't nothing wrong with me. Then people might have got the lot that just got them enslaved. You see? But then you got the people that may take a while before it really hit them. Because what was put out by the UK, and there's been a lot coming out lately, man. If you ain't take the walk, I know you got to be feeling real good today, because it's been coming out in droves about different countries talking about how, yes, the people that have taken it, they are jacked the hell up. Like, they are coming out and openly saying, yes, if you took the walk, your immune system is jacked up and ain't nothing you can do about it. You are in bad shape. This is coming out, man. Go ahead, BG.
I was gonna say, yeah, we talked about that last time. I told you that about even my mom. Ever since she took that walk, what I'm saying, in and out of hospital, and in and out of the hospital, like at a rate that we never even seen her do, her whole life. And it's like, yeah, you could say she's getting older, but it was only after that, I was preaching to her, don't do it, but she had other health problems, what I'm saying, so she was kind of scared about that. But yeah, man, it's been crazy, man. And hey, shout out to 3 Carbonte. Sorry to hear about that. He said my former girlfriend died from the jab back in March 2021, 5 days after getting the jab.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
5 days after.
5 days after.
That is crazy.
And I had one of my cousins, his wife, friend that got the jab, and died like right after too. So it's crazy, man. Like the way it affects you in different ways, it affects everybody differently. You gotta realize we're all different. We do have different makeups of ourselves, So some of our immune systems are strong enough. If you live more of a healthier lifestyle, where you eat right, you eat better, I'm pretty sure it's gonna not affect you as much, as if you're not in that situation. But it's crazy to see. But sorry to hear that, buddy.
Yeah, I hate to hear that too, man. And like I say, I don't be trying to be that guy that's like, oh, I told you so. Nobody wants to be, telling people, I told you so, you should have listened, but it's a lot of folks, man. Like I want to contact folks and tell them, like, man, hey, like this is what's going on. Like you need to start taking some type of steps toward trying to preserve your life and your days at this point. Because we know you already, you made a mistake. Some people still can't come to the conclusion, or they're in denial that they made a mistake. So you can't address the problem and even get them to a point where they can even preserve their life, like the quality of life, and even try to combat this some kind of way, because they still in the state of mind like, oh, I think this is good. I think it's a good thing. I think I did the right thing. They don't want to accept reality. And like I said, this could be because of the whole parasite piece. It could be just because they just don't want to face the fact that, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. You've been lied to. You've been deceived. You see, and the person that told you all that stuff was 100% right. Like, you still the crazy friend. You know what I'm saying? You still the crazy friend. You the one that they feel like is the dumbest person that they ever knew. Or some of them don't want to swallow their pride and say, damn, Z, you was right. You was right. I should have listened to you. And some of them are having side effects right now. And they still don't want to come to you and say, dang, you was right. You was right. But it's some friends that you ain't hearing from as much as you used to. You're not hearing from them because they soaking in that decision they made. And it's eating their ass up. It's eating them up. And every side effect, or every morning they wake up and they got something wrong, they got an extra finger growing out the side of their head, they sitting up in there and they scared as hell. And all they could think about, first thing come to mind, is you. And the fact that, dang, she was so telling me, don't do it. But I'm not finna tell her. I would not give her the gratification to know that she was right, because I argued with her left and right. I argued her to the death, and she was right. And this is the wrong time to be on the wrong side of a right or wrong. This is not the time that you want to be wrong. And I had to tell my sister that too, because my sister was, I was fighting her tooth and nail. Don't you take that walk. Don't you? I think I'm about to take it. I'm about to do it. I need to do it for this. Don't you take it. Don't you take it. I said, give it another couple months. Just sit back. Trust me on this one. This ain't the time you want to be wrong. Okay? Take your chances with me on this one. This is not the time you want to be wrong on something. And she stuck by what I was saying, and she didn't do it. Now she looking up like she just can't give me enough thanks for not doing it. Mm-hmm. But she pissed though, because her ex-husband took their kids and got them to take the walk.
I feel like they
from both parents.
Yeah, you should, but they don't want that. They gonna take whoever's gonna take them in there, because the courts was doing that too. If you don't take your kid to get the walk, then you're gonna lose custody. They got that serious with stuff.
In my neighborhood, my old neighborhood, they were letting anybody 12 and older come to. They had a truck set up and giving them $100. You entice a 12-year-old with $100, they're gonna run to their truck. They didn't even need their parents.
Right, but look at what you just said. They offered $100. When if they gave you any money to take anything?
They'll give you free.
What kind of brainless person would realize it? But even to give you one better, they was paying people $10 back in early February last year to take the test.
No,
they was paying you to take. They was paying people to take the test.
I didn't.
So why are you paying me to take this test? Why are y'all paying us to take? Why are we paying for? Why are y'all paying us anything to put stuff in us? Common sense.
They got free weed in New York for the
free weed. Yeah. Free weed.
That's crazy.
Free French fries. Free Krispy Kreme.
Always correlate that with the
lottery tickets. Good Lord. I promise it's not funny.
How long
and
does
you dangle that stuff in front of people that are in poverty, that are poor, and they jump forward, and they don't know no better.
They don't know no better. It's a lot of people. Think about how much stuff today because you actually went on that journey down that rabbit hole. But think about who you were when you did not know. Think about how easy it would have been to deceive you. Yeah. Like we've been deceived at times, but maybe not to this degree. But there was things that happened where you were naive, where you were oblivious to what could happen. You didn't think nothing of it. You thought the world was a good place. People were generally innocent and good, had good intentions. That was my thoughts most of my life. But now I understand that things are not as they seem. And even people that you might think are good people are not necessarily good people. Some of these people are controlled. Some of these people are not people at all.
Facts.
You didn't ran across people that were possessed and being used to try to bring you down or bring about your downfall. It's a spiritual battle. You see what I'm saying? And if you on this side, then that means you are enemy to the other side. And so their whole agenda is to make sure that you don't succeed in whatever you do. So you're going to be under attack. Your life is going to be probably harder than most people. That's why they make sure the people that do the wrong things, they get money, they get positions of power, they open doors for them. But people like us, they want to know who you are. They want to make sure that you don't got a voice, that you don't have a good life. You don't get the things that you need to have to succeed. You on the other side. We are the biggest threat because we wide awake. The other folks that are asleep, they want to keep them asleep.
Yeah.
You see, we got our 3D, we got our 5D glasses on. Like, you can't just blow anything by us. Like, those days are over. Like, I don't sleep and wake up the same. My whole life has changed based off of my knowledge and information, understanding how this world functions. I no longer think that we live I no longer believe we're living on a spinning globe. I just don't believe it.
What do you tell me your thoughts on that? What is this? The atmosphere.
You watched Black Panther, didn't you?
Yeah.
The dome.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the dome. I never really believed none of that stuff about the sky and all that stuff. That was something I didn't believe a while ago, a long time ago, about the stars.
Yeah, I strongly believe that everything that they told us was to fixate our minds on a world with certain limitations and certain beliefs that would keep us from expanding our intellect and also our spiritual understanding of how this world functions. Like, we not like, think about your whole life. You've been told, oh, you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell. You're going to blow and you're going to burn forever. You better not do that. You're going to burn forever. You're just going to be on fire. Who told you that? Who was there burning like that actually experienced this type of life? That's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen to you. And you buy into everything they say after that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then they tell you, well, what is heaven? Well, you're going to be up there and you're going to be walking with Jesus. And you're going to have your robe on and you're going to be eating grapes. That's what you're going to do. If you make it out of here, that's what you get. And you get to worship all day long. That's what you're going to do. And people believe that. You see? And then they structure the Bible a certain way so that they make sure that that's how your mind functions. Like, you got to do this and do that so you can get there. But what they don't tell you is that you down here and this is Satan's playground. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that these demons is out here and they eating and sacrificing children and doing everything else. And you on this 3D realm and you functioning on a 3D level, and their objective is to make sure that you can't get out of here because they calcified your only passageway out of here by making sure that you have no connection to the cosmos, to the spiritual realm. So that's why they kind of flood you with this demented music, this negative television, this negative. They want to keep you vibrating low, so they make sure that they keep pushing all this negativity on you. And they make they pay these artists all this money to make sure that you taking and consuming all this negative information, this negative life, so that you cannot reach that other level of spiritual consciousness. All of it is designed to keep you in a low state, because now you have to recycle here. You're gonna keep on coming back to this place and be enslaved for the most part. You can't go to the fifth dimension or heaven, what most people would call it, if you're not able to get in touch with your spiritual side. It's possible for you to go outside of this realm. You stuck on a 3D level.
So if and just to go back to something you previously said, for people that I know you said, like, we've been bamboozled before, we've been in a space to where I know I can speak for myself. I wasn't clear as I am now. And I contribute that to my diet, the people I surround myself with, the list, the music, just anything that I feed my temple. So for people who's trying to get to a place where they are working to decalcify their pineal gland or get a higher or better connection with source, what would you recommend, or what sparked your spiritual journey, or made, what was the turnaround for you?
Well, I say the turnaround for me was really seeing how the devil works, seeing how Satan works, which I correlate with the draconians, okay, the reptilians. There's a connection between the two. Okay, and I dealt with a guy that was we did a video, what was it called? I can't think of what it was called, but it dealt with the Orion lines and the Orion belt, and how basically they're from that particular star system or whatnot. And it is demons, but that's what they are. People always want to get caught up on, oh, demon and alien. Like, understand this. The demons are trying to get you to inject a alien in you, a life form. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's stop going and saying these are different things, because what else does a demon do? It feeds on your negative energy. What do these Dracos and reptilians do? They feed on that too. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? They're torturing people. They live like they're literally thousands of miles up under this surface, which you could call it hell, but demons are in hell, right? It's hot as hell down there, apparently, from what they say. So there's a correlation there, and people don't want to make that connection because it dismisses, it totally destroys their whole thoughts of concept of reality. You see, but that's what they want. They're able to hide behind that. Like, say a snake was in the Garden of Eden and told her to take the bite of the apple. Well, today we got reptilians, same class of species, amphibian, right? They're trying to get us to do something that's going to also, get us to lose our spiritual connection. The same thing. Here we are thousands of years later, and we're dealing with the same thing. So for me, I started to look at what was going on and how it was really reality. Like, I started putting the pieces together. Like, yeah, I read the Bible and grew up in the church and everything else, and I had a lot of questions. Always had a lot of questions that didn't make sense. I always wondered why was God? I was like, why is God allowing all these little kids to suffer? I used to watch them commercials on TV where they had the little kids. They was over there. They was big belly, sticks and bones, slides on their eyeballs and stuff. Hungry as hell. Hungry. I said, well, God had made loads. Remember the story in the Bible where God made all the fishes like multiply and the bread and feed all the people. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, God is almighty and he really care about everybody, and Jesus and he care like that. Then why doesn't he take care of these kids? Why are they dying every day and nobody's doing nothing about it? Because I wanted to do something about it. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt. I felt like, man, what could I do to help them kids? Well, God, I'll pray for them. But still, they laying over there in the mud, dead, dying. And there's nothing you can do about it. And if God really cares like that, then you would think, yeah, he's going to do something about it. But why is he allowing it to happen? You see, at the same time. So I started looking at that aspect, and I started looking at what was going on with the music industry and how all these artists was getting money and stuff. And I saw that they was worshiping Satan. It was apparent to me that they were worshiping a higher power to get money and fame. And here they are living good and they doing evil. And then here you got these innocent kids over here dying and they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And God should be looking after them because they're innocent children. Those are my thoughts. Okay, everybody can think how they want. You can say, oh, well, God's punishing them. What did the kid do? What did the kid do to wake up in a hell like that? Oh, he's punishing them for what their parents did 2 centuries ago. The ancestors. They being punished because that's what they say in the Bible, right? These people will be punished, and so they're gonna live a terrible life, and your kids will be, thrown to the alligators and whatever. So I started looking at those pieces. Stuff just didn't add up, just didn't make sense to me. Okay. Then I look at the evil people like the Catholic Church and the priest and all them, they molesting the little boys. Something ain't right with that. And then you can still do this evil and you can walk on holy ground. You see what I'm saying? You walking on holy ground, you going in the church, and then you sacrificing babies, you're drinking blood, you're doing all this evil stuff, you're molesting children, and God is allowing you, based off of the religion, God is still allowing you to walk in there and do that stuff. And ain't nothing happening to you. Something ain't right. So I started putting all this stuff together, and I said, man, what is really going on? Why are we not getting the whole picture here of what is really happening in this world? And so I started stumbling across stuff that started dealing with more of the spiritual aspect, consciousness and stuff like that. You know, and some of the people, and these white, black people that got an understanding of consciousness, and they weren't so caught up on race. They weren't so caught up on religion. See, we so caught up on religion. Okay. And make no mistake about it, I do believe in God. Okay. I believe in God. There's a higher power. Something created us. Okay. We are complex beings. Okay. But he also said he created us in the image and likeness of him. Okay. And he's all powerful, almighty. Okay. So we should be having some kind of powers too, right? Like we understand that these evil people, they worship Satan and they got powers and stuff that they utilize. You know what I'm saying? Whereas they do things, they call on Satan for their power. Well, if evil people can call on Satan for power, then we should be able to call on God for power, right? We should be able to, like, angels, real thing, demons, real thing. I knew Satan was real because I seen what they was doing. I seen how they function and the stuff that they was being blessed with by Satan. So we have to understand that God would do the same thing for us. We on the right side of this, right? So we should have more power than any type of evil principality or entity, first and foremost, because he give us the power to walk and tread on all things. You know, even like people that take the walk, they should be able to drink deadly things and it shall not harm them if you have faith in God and you really have the power within. You see what I'm saying? Like from a spiritual aspect. So for me, I started seeing this stuff for what it was, and I couldn't no longer just kind of confine all my thoughts and beliefs into just Christianity and just the religious aspect of it. I knew they left some pieces out. People decided what was going to go in that Bible. And I have this debate about people all the time. Oh, the Bible, I don't care. You need to read this verse. You need to read that. I don't want to hear about any version that you have. Because at the end of the day, some man sat down at some desk and he wrote every little word that you read in there and said, this is what I want you to read. This is what you're going to read. And he gave it to you. And you read it and you believed everything he said. I'm seeing today that these same people and things are being used the same way. Back in the day, our news that came to us came in what way? Through Bibles and such things like that. That was your information. Today we have the news. The news is completely manipulated and it's the deceptive tool used to control us. Today, we didn't have media, mainstream media back then. You had the Bible, and that was what controlled how you thought, what you did, and how you moved. That's why I say all the Bible is not wrong. I don't believe that, but I do believe that a lot of it has been utilized for evil, for bad purposes. You know, like they tell you in the Bible to eat meat and stuff. They tell you in the Bible, hey, drink the flesh of Jesus, or drink the blood of Jesus and eat the flesh. Like you're supposed to do that on the Sabbath day, which is symbolic of cannibalism. The same thing okay. But why would somebody put something like that in there? So then you want to criticize these evil beings or people that go and they eat children's flesh and they drink the blood. So what, are they okay? Are they any more better than doing it? So we do it in the name of Jesus. We eat the flesh and we drink the blood. So we fine.
You get a pass.
But if you do it, yeah, but you do it for your own purposes, for evil purposes, it's okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense, is what I'm saying. And they do these things just like today. They tell us, like I said, drink milk. They tell you take the walk. You see what I'm saying? They tell you drink lots of water, brush your teeth, get the fluoride in your system. They do stuff to do the same thing to keep you vibrating low, to keep you from being able to ascend to the next dimension. And for the most part, it works. And then they put a little bit in there that you're supposed to hear, real information. about God that you're supposed to, like you're supposed to be righteous and have love within you. I believe if you have love within your heart and you walking righteously, you're gonna be all right either way.
Facts.
I believe that's what God will want you to do. Look out for your fellow man and don't have an evil bone in your body, or don't be doing things out of spite or trying to be egregious about what you're doing evil. Like those people that are vibrating low, that have a low frequency, they able to be manipulated by evil entities. Like they can flow through them, just like in the Matrix. When the agents are all around us. They able to be manipulated because they still connect. They still hardwired to the Matrix. They not able to disconnect. You see, and that's why they want to make sure they got all these people still hardwired, because they can be used at any time. That's why somebody come to your house right now and boom, snap on you. You be like, dang, what the heck wrong with you? You know, but they they hardwired to the dang Matrix. So anything can possess or use them right away and have you up in there like, shoot, why are you snapping at me? I ain't even said nothing to you. But they being possessed. You see what I mean? So for us that's vibrating high, we able to control our own spiritual essence. We able to control our stuff, have our spiritual discernment and everything else like that. You know, and then whether that's because we're not able to be manipulated by the parasites, because remember, you go back to Dr. Sebi. See, it's a strong connection, correlation here. Dr. Sebi was like, hey, don't eat meat, don't do the dairy and all that. Why? You look at the meat. What is in the meat to begin with? You ever poured the Pepsi? They show you the thing where they poured the Pepsi on the meat, all them parasites come out, right? You see what I'm saying? So they always say you eat meat, that keeps you vibrating low. Well, what else are they trying to do that has to do with vibrating low? They trying to introduce a parasite into your system. Why are we talking about parasites, meat, parasites in the walk? Why are they both? One is able to control you and possess you. So if you eat meat and stuff like that, you also able to be possessed. The same thing. You vibrating low. So now you at a frequency where you can be tampered with. You connected to the Matrix. See, it's a correlation there. Dr. Sebi had figured it out. Like, don't put this in your system. You won't get sick. You won't have these problems, and you'll be able to connect to your higher self. See, they don't tell us everything as it relates to the spiritual world, which is more important than the physical. We are spiritual beings first, but they made us believe that we are physical beings first, and that physically we need to do this and do that for our physical vessel. But what are they giving us and doing to us that's attacking our spiritual being? You see what I'm saying? So for me, I started noticing the difference between the religions and stuff that they was pushing and how it affected us as spiritual. You see what I'm saying? We focusing on some of the wrong things. And that's where it can be like a gray area. Because if you like me, you grow up in the church and stuff, yeah, you believe everything you've been taught. Like your parents believe all that stuff. They push that same stuff on you. So when you come in this world, you getting drilled from day one. You have no time to develop a spiritual consciousness or spiritual discernment, because everything you know is being drilled on you.
Yeah.
You know, so you being taught from the womb how to think, how to behave, what to put in your system. Your parents come out thinking, hey, you need to go and get that those immunizations. You need to get everything you're supposed to get. They're like, yep, take them down there, get all that, boom, boom, boom. They dope you up. But you know what? You have no way of assessing what's really supposed to be in your system, or really how your mind is supposed to work, because it's already been tempered. Your mind is your spiritual connection, your pineal gland has already been diluted before you even able to access it. At birth. And that's what the guy said. We will have a walk in the next, he said that back in the 1800s, we will have a walk that we will give children at birth that will disconnect them from the spiritual realm before they even know that this exists. How many people how many people already fell victim to that? Right. You see? But there is a way to decalcify and also get that spiritual connection back. How do we do it? There's different ways. I've seen a lot of different methods, but we don't know for us personally if we already experienced something or did something to keep ourselves in that spiritual consciousness that everybody else doesn't have right now. We don't know what might have taken place in our own specific lives. Like I told the piece in the in my video last night, where I was like, there was a time when my nieces, my nephews came over and they had scabies, which is the parasite, and everybody got it. You know, everybody got this stuff, and we took ivermectin, we took some other things, and those kill parasites. How do we know that these parasites that are in you ain't affected by that too? How do we know that we ain't inadvertently kill other parasites that was affecting our brains? You see what I'm saying? We don't know what medication do. We know there's some medications and some things you do, like taking certain drugs, like X pills and stuff. It opens people's up spiritually. Okay, people like they seeing things and stuff. They delusional. Well, they not gonna tell you, oh, you accidentally accessed your pineal gland. Nobody's gonna tell you that you did a drug that really gave. Right. People smoking certain marijuana and stuff. They like, oh shoot, they trip. They like, oh man, I seen something, you know, and they get to tripping. You know what I'm saying? But you have to go back. What Rudolf Steiner said. We will use some type of walk, which is some type of medication or drug, to keep people from accessing their spiritual self and being able to have that power. So if you can use a drug to cut people off from it, I'm pretty sure you can use a drug to open up that access as well. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when people take certain drugs and stuff, they see things, they go through a moment where, oh shoot, they don't know what the hell going on, they delusional. Like people need help, like drinking alcohol, all that stuff has effect. Those chemical reactions in the body, in the brain. You know what I mean? That people don't really understand because nobody is sitting there writing a book to let you know what does what to your spiritual. They just want you to know what's going on with your physical.
Barely.
That's what barely. And they don't tell you what's going on with your physical. Stuff they really do is really harming you in most cases. But what's going on spiritually, you're not going to get any of that information from anybody. Right. That's going to be the best kept secret to keep you from being able to connect to your higher self and stuff. Now, I'm not advocating for drugs or nothing like that. I'm not advocating for that.
I will say that I think everybody should try a couple of all natural drugs, the drugs that come from the earth.
Magic mushrooms are amazing. I've seen people heal trauma in real time with magic mushrooms. I've seen amazing things occur with magic mushrooms, and I'm talking about this is just like I'm just now learning about it within the last year or so, and they're using it in Western medicine now for treating with ketamine, things like that. These same drugs that they're telling you are, oh, that's white people stuff, or that stuff will harm you. It's almost like it's flipped because I've seen no side effects from
right. It's flipped. Yeah, it's flipped, like you just said. That's what they've been doing. They tell you the opposite. The same thing like when President Trump was saying, hey, take this, take that. And they was like, oh, that'll kill you. Oh, that don't take that. It was all stuff that actually helped. They didn't want you to have access to it, so they condemned it early. They right away, oh, people are dying from that. Don't do that. Oh, people are drinking bleach and all that. He didn't say drink bleach. I had a whole video on a doctor. I can't think of his name. What was that doctor's name? I can't think of his name. He was from like Switzerland or something, and he had discovered how to treat the virus. He had figured it out, and he was like, "I'm trying to get in touch with President Trump. We use this. We've had nothing but success with it. It's an easy drug that people can use. It was chlorine dioxide." Yeah, and he was trying to get in touch with Trump. He was like, "This works. It's a miracle. It works on anything, and they cure people." Right away, and with less than a day, everybody was healthy that had the virus. And so he was talking about chlorine dioxide. They tried to go back and twist it and say he was saying chlorine bleach. You see, so you had people drinking bleach, or they was making it sound like, oh, people been drinking bleach and they dying, so people would steer away from the cure. You see how they did that? Then it was like, oh, don't take hydroxychloroquine and zinc. Don't do that. And the Zithromax packs, don't do that because that'll kill you. People, but they were giving people super high dosages of stuff so that it would have a wrong effect, and they could say, "Oh, you can't use it." Yeah. You give people a high dosage of anything, and it's gonna have a negative effect. It still to be medically administered so that you don't get an overdose, so that you do get the right amount for your size, weight, height, whether you're a woman or a man or a child. I mean, I did one time. I made a mistake and I read a cap that said 2.5 on one side, and it said you're supposed to take 7.5 or 7.5 milliliters, right? So I took 3 caps of 2.5. Didn't know if I spent the cap around, it said 10 on 5 on one side, 10 on the other. But if you look at the cap on one side, it says 2.5. On the whole cap, it's just a big number to say 2.5. So you assume the whole cap is full, is 2.5. Well, actually, the whole cap full, if you look on the other side, it's a 10. So that's 10 milliliters of a medication. So I took 3 of them mugs. I was overdosed on some some Mucinex or something. So that had a very bad effect on me, needless to say. Had I took another cap, I could have died. I don't know. But it's easy for people to get the message that, oh, this is a bad medication for you, if they give it to some people, over administer it to where it looks bad, and then they can write it off and say, oh, we tried that, it doesn't work, when it actually did work. So the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, have control over the pharmaceutical industry. They've always had control since like the 50s or 60s. They took control of it, and they totally banned and outlawed all the herbal remedies and all the medications that you could get naturally. They did that, and they introduced all these toxins and all these medications, opioids and things that were addictive. They did that intentionally. And they said anybody that was practicing real herbal medicine, holistic doctors and stuff, they banned, they outlawed them, they jailed them, they did all of that stuff. And that's how we came to about today, to where now people use all these medications and stuff, and these pills that are addictive and toxic to their bodies and causing all these cancers and deaths. They did that intentionally. And they've been doing that stuff. They've been controlling the flow of information and what they tell us and what is good for us and what's not. And we believe it. And most of the people don't question it, because they say, well, doctors are good. They give you the right information. They know all things.
Yeah. That's so fake. And that's another part of your video that, like, who was it? What's his name? Dr. B? Dr. B?
Serious B, yeah.
Yes, that guy broke it down, you know? How, like, these doctors today, they're just basically your average everyday drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they really are. They can't really, I haven't really seen nothing get cured and forever.
High blood pressure, nothing.
Like, nothing's been cured. You know? That's crazy. How nothing's been cured. They outlaw, like you said, they outlaw all these herbals, you know, scientific ways to, you know, heal yourself, or they go against it. But at the same time, you can't even go to the doctor and get healed for anything anymore. What you can do is take a medicine that's going to do something else to you, but it's going to help ease the symptoms of that, to the point where you can, you know, you can live freely with. But then guess what?
Oh, he cut out.
Yeah, I think we lost them. You there, BG? You start saying the wrong things, they start coming for you. I think that's what happened.
There we go.
They always do it.
We thought we lost you, man.
They always do that, man. I ain't worried about them. But yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, you know, even with the walk, you know, like, they came out and told you that it was no cure. You know, so why was everybody so excited? I feel like they treat us like we're dumber and dumber. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even have to try as hard anymore to get us to do things anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, oh, it's not a cure. It's going to save you from dying. And like, people with the walk die. You know, so what was the biggest thing that made you go, okay, this sounds like legit? Like, you can't even tell me this is going to cure or stop any of this, but you're lining up in the cars, driving across, you know, paying whatever, going, you know, wherever you need to go to get this shot. You know, like, that stuff to me is just crazy. It's pure.
And then they forcing you to take it. They forcing you to take it. Yeah. So I had found I came across somebody had put up a clip where they was talking about how we haven't found a cure for cancer, we haven't found a cure for HIV and AIDS and all these different problems that we had in like 50 years or whatever. But y'all just somehow found a cure for a cold or whatever in less than a couple of months, and you're gonna force everybody to take it, and it ain't even been tested yet. And this is supposed to be real medicine that y'all practicing, like science behind this stuff. Like, what kind of sense does that make? It's obvious that there's some other agenda behind it, and people don't realize that. I mean, like we said, it's probably the people that have been cut off and disconnected from being able to have that spiritual discernment about what's going on. So
Yeah,
I wanted to
and I
find
want
that
to order
little.
that PDR that he was talking about.
You said what?
I want to order that PDR he was talking about. You know, with the herbs in it. You know, because
Yeah.
I fully believe in that. Everything here is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? To stop and block things that are not supposed to be there and whatnot. And I do believe that everything can be like, I'm the type of guy, like, it is more like it's mind over matter at the end of the day. You know, that is our power. That is our free will. If we don't believe that things will happen to us, it won't happen. Most people, you know, they get shot, they look at themselves, they think about, oh, I'm shot, you know, and they lose, you know, hope. You know, that's why there's been plenty of people that been shot up and still alive. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to die. They knew that they wasn't going to die. It's a self thing. It's inside you. Your power is controlling things like that. You know, I don't go to the doctor. I don't get sick, you know, very often. And I rarely ever go to doctors because I believe that nothing on this earth can poison my body because it's fully cleansed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I roll, you know. But I've seen people, you know, that think that they can get sick off anything, and every single thing does make them sick. You know, every single thing does get them, you know, messed up.
Yeah, and people
They
believe
got
that they
Z.
need
Where
to
she
take
go?
the.
They got Z. You all right, Z?
They might have, but yeah, everything they try to do is like they give you a medicine. They supposedly have a medicine for you, you know, and it's gonna have another effect and give you something else, you know. So yeah, I think that's an important piece, man, that people got to look at. Like they control the whole pharmaceutical industry, and they promoting medications that's gonna have a negative impact on you. Whether you may not notice it till 20 years later, you come up with something and you don't know where it came from. Nobody has any kind of explanation for you. The doctors can't even tell you nothing. Like all these people that's coming down ill and stuff, like doctors can't tell them nothing right now. Crazy. Doctors can't tell them nothing. I just saw the other day they were saying that people taking naps, if you take excessive naps, it can lead to heart attacks. Can you believe that? Taking too many naps can give you a heart attack. If you sleep in a bad posture, it can cause you to have a heart attack. If your flight get canceled, because flights are getting canceled at an alarming rate, it will cause you to have a heart attack. You see what kind of BS crap they put out now to try to excuse what they've done, the damage they've done to people? You can have a heart attack from taking a nap. Like, you shouldn't take naps no more, or you might cause yourself to have a heart attack. And don't, Lord forbid, your flight get canceled, because you can have a heart attack if your flight get canceled. Like, what kind of idiot do I look like? Come on,
the same
man.
fear tactic they've always used against us, man. It's a fear tactic. They know that the average person, all they have to do is say it, and the fear is real right off the jump. As soon as they say it, the fear is real. They're like, no, I don't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? Before they do any research, before they do anything about it, they just, I don't want none of it. Let's go ahead and get it done.
Well, they got to have something for these people, because a lot of people don't understand what's happening as far as the you know, what's going on behind the wall. A lot of it, like these numbers, like I really anticipate that we're gonna see a lot more tragedy coming real soon, and they got to get ahead of it. They got to control the narrative, you know, and that's what they're doing. They're anticipating mass deaths. Okay, they didn't have all them dang plastic coffins from the FEMA coffins. They didn't have all them lined out for nothing. They were planning mass deaths for a long time, and now they did what they needed to do to get them. Now they waiting on the bodies to put in them. So we're not out of the woods by a long shot. They've already dropped the payload. They just waiting now. And if they go for that Marburg virus, if that kick off from the nanos that people got, we're gonna be for one hell of a winter.
Like, people don't even look at just the little things. Like, why anybody that come out and tell the truth about something have an accident? You know, that is the first sign to tell. You know, oh, this guy said something. Hey, that sounds good. As soon as you say, hey, that sounds good, next morning, plane crash, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Sleep, and, you know, we don't know. You know, like, what is wrong with that? Like, that is a huge problem. You know, that's a huge problem that people don't realize that that should be a first red flag is when anybody tries to push out real truth, you see them gone. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear from them no more. You don't get to hear the whole truth, for one,
No.
because you can talk about something for hours, but there's hours and hours of conversation you can have, that you can get deep into, details and what to do, how to prevent, and all this other stuff that they don't really even get that. They just get you to the point of letting you know that this is BS. This is bullshit. Straight up,
Yeah.
and this is the reason why it's bullshit, because all you need is X, Y, and Z, and you're good. And as soon as these guys come out with that, like even like you said, that lady, like as soon as she came out with that, she gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gone.
Yep. They put the information out there that people need to know, and all of a sudden they condemn them. Hey, these people lying, or they try to make it seem like they lose credibility. No, nothing they saying is truthful. They try to make it seem like that, and then they make them disappear. Either way, like they make sure that the truth does not get to the people that it needs to. And they've been doing that. It's at a point now where, like I said, they used to use the news or the Bible for information and stuff to kind of keep people in check, keep people under control. Now they're using other methods, and then now us people like truthers are able to reach people and tell people, hey, this is what's happening. Oh, well, look at this. Think about all the people that could have told you some information back in the day that their message never got out. The only message you got right now is from the Bible. But there's other people that had other, insight about life back then, other stuff that was going on, and other people that might have got the Bible and distorted it, like the Bible, I believe has been traditionally a good book. And I believe that it's been tampered and manipulated intentionally to control the masses. And there's people that know about some of the manipulation and stuff that we don't know that happened back in the day that should be in the Bible. You know what I mean? That people should know about, but they won't, because those that have control, have power, they're using it for the wrong purposes, not for what God may have intended it for it to be used for. You know what I mean? So, anywho, man, I think we didn't kind of hit on a lot of topics.
We definitely
lost Z. Yeah, we lost Z.
We definitely lost Z. Hope Z's all right. Z, sorry we didn't mean to bring you into this world, but I feel like everybody needs to know about it. Everybody needs to have their truth heard. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs to do their research. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of truthers out there, and they encourage, do your research. Fact check things. You know what I'm saying? Read about alternate solutions. Like there's a lot of things you can do to be educated on a situation and put yourself in the right situation. It doesn't have to. You don't have to believe everything. It's like you're gonna believe what you want to believe at the end of the day. And make sure what you want to believe is your own judgment, as opposed to listening to somebody else or listening to a doctor or something like that. Make sure that you understand the situation by yourself, and you come with the best thing for your plan for your life. So, but hey, man, thanks again for coming on. Like I said, we definitely need to do some more of these. Hopefully next time Mary will be back and we can have the whole bunch back again together. So,
we'll shoot for we're gonna try to do another one in 2 weeks. I guess it'll be like the second week of August. We about to be in August now, so we'll do another one, man, and might have some more tight information that people need to know, because there's some things like I feel like we at a very pivotal point where some things is gonna really transpire over the next couple of months, man. It's gonna kind of dictate which way we going. So I'm expecting a lot of things to come out.
Or do you just think that's life and balance?
Say that again?
Do you think it ever reach one way or the other, like it goes too dramatic or undramatic, or do you think it's just life is balance? You're gonna always be like
I'll say this. I believe we've been in this battle for a long time. We haven't always been able to communicate like we do today. You know what I mean? Like, stuff has been happening. Remember 9/11 stuff happened. People died. Wars happened. People died. Different medications came out that killed people. Nobody talked about it. People died. These things are going to continue to happen. And I don't think that necessarily means that the world is going to change for sure, because as long as they getting their agendas across and doing what they need to do, because they've been doing it, then it's going to continue to go that way. Will it end for some people? A world will change for some people? Yes, drastically, dramatically. You know, because some people will be leaving here because they fell victim to deception by Satan. Okay, and that doesn't mean that the world ends, because this isn't the first time that man has been deceived. That doesn't mean, like, we could go through a good time after this whole undoing of the nation with these deaths and everything.
Z just messaged me, said my computer is randomly updated without permission. Just randomly
Wow.
updated. Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know they've been messing with me since the start. I don't really care about that. Like I said, I'm not scared of nobody. I don't care.
Well, I can tell you one thing you may need to do is get you some virus protection. Get some virus and parasite protection for your computer. That's what you need to do. Because they got stuff in your system too. But anyway, brother, it's been real.
Yeah, go ahead and let everybody know before we get out here the social media platforms they can find you at.
Guys, I'm on Rumble. That's where I put a lot of the information that we can't talk about on YouTube. Rumble /C/net most wanted. We got the YouTube, which that does have information on it, but it's limited. It's more PG or rated for YouTube. So some of that stuff we talk about, like on here, we don't talk as in depth as we would like to, that I do on Rumble, because the powers that be are watching. So you can go to YouTube though, youtube.com/net most wanted. You can get me there, or you can also go to the Telegram net most wanted. We share information throughout there on a regular basis. I also have a BitChute. Everything's pretty much net most wanted. BitChute, Brighteon. Go to any of them particular platforms and you'll find my channel, my videos or whatnot. And we constantly putting information out on YouTube on a regular basis. I've been off for the last month. I ain't put much out, man. A little breather, and I had to shake one of them strikes off. So now that that's off, Lord forbid I get another one. I know I probably will at some point, but right now everything's good. So y'all can check in with me over there. You there, BG? I lost him. So yeah, y'all be safe, man.
We're gonna get out of here. Subscribe to all the platforms: BGN Entertainment, BGN Sports Media, Game 31, God is Z, Miss Mary Cruz, and Net Most Wanted. Make sure you guys get out there, subscribe, and hit that like on all those platforms. And yeah, we're gonna get out here. We're gonna try to do it again in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have some upgrades on my computer by then, and we'll see what happens, man. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we out.
All right, brother. You be safe.